Hey guys, it's Kusi. Welcome back to episode 7 of timing all tents, but leaving the two difficult ones till the end just to mold during the heal checks and the IQ checks. It is 0 to hero. Bro, it's called slow and steady, not slow and slower? Holy Paladin edition. In the last episode we figured out that some dungeons are actually dead easy whenever you got a solid party, while some others still provide pretty significant heal checks to pass through. We also learned that apparently Blizzard's hate to watch dark skin also transcends to Vault luck, as I got the belt, even though they themselves implemented the item level 700 Stepdad Snapper during the season. And we had to accept the honest truth that apparently Priory of the Weird Routes seems to be the final boss in every series I've done this season so far. So you guessed it, on today's chopping block will be Priory. But not just that. We also lack the Dark Flame Cleft run, which means we still need to survive two specific bosses where DPS dictate the incoming damage by playing mechanics. And we all know DPS always play mechanics. With that being said, make sure to like the video as it helps out this channel unbelievably big, and enjoy the 7th and final episode in which one attempt per dungeon will not be enough. Hey yo, no way I wasn't behind that! Alright, so you better buckle up since this episode will be all about DLC and Priory. I also will take some extra time to quickly talk about my experience with Holy Paladin and my, well, I guess feedback, if you want to call it that. But first, let's jump right into the action. DFC 10, and I kid you not, it took me forever to find a party for this. I mean, it was 12:30 AM at this point, but I'm sure it was on a Saturday, so I was quite shocked how few DFC keys were available. And yet, here we are. It's something I regret saying. Because, you see, we pulled this one pack, which made me think we're just gonna chill on the first part of the dungeon, since it's easily the most annoying part. But joke's on me, we did some vulnerable pull right after, which technically would have been a lust worthy, but we didn't do that. I was so overstimulated on this pull, everyone took damage, everyone! And then, once it looked like we had it cleared, our Warlock left. And if you don't know who the Warlock is, it's the guy not showing up on the kick shards, which made the pull significantly harder. I had to run 25 yards to the next mob to interrupt. Also only 8 deaths. I've seen a lot worse in this area. But be that as it may, because I didn't find any other keys to play this late, I decided to go for the next day with a fresh mindset and an empty tank for potential healer abuse. Now in hindsight, this was our first warning to dip this key. Tank demanded a lust on the first boss, which is weird on so many levels. I mean, if you play it slow, you will have lust back up on the first boss anyways. And if you play it fast, you want as many lusts as possible. So what would it be? Mage had enough of it right away. Wise man. But I was curious.
Are you dumb?
Again, first dungeon of the day, so how bad can it be, am I right? Already not the biggest fan of the first pull. If you only want to play it, don't play it there, because someone will add the second pet rolling around. That just means double shouts that can break your party, and it's almost lust worthy. And then we had our second warning. The tank seemingly walking to the corner of the mini-boss, and even though he did that, he got sent flying in every direction possible. Red flag number 3, the affix. It simply got not played at all, and often survived with 50-ish%, which is horrible while playing a mini-boss. Without showing you every pull we had, you can make your own opinion by simply knowing that we pulled super slow and we still had multiple deaths. Now, how can that be a thing?
I don't know, Jeff.
Is it because the healer is ass?
Yes.
Is it because of the packs we pulled? Most likely. Is it the fact that we need 47.5-ish% before the first boss at max, since we can't skip anything anymore, but we had 54, meaning we played roughly 2 packs too much? Yeah, maybe. Now, technically with 3 paladins, the entire boss fight of Brawn Pike should be stupidly easy. I mean, each paladin can bubble off those 5 orbs by himself. The problem is, we didn't play it like that. I soaked my 5, and even though I called it, somebody interfered. We blew through all of our combat dresses because the affix was simply not played at all, which made the ticking dot so much more dangerous. Because, guess what? The fences were also rare to see. Look, I could spend the next 10 minutes going over every damn pull and what went wrong, but I can tell you in an overall, this was just a weekly no lever at its finest. And like I said last episode, I feel like it's too late for a weekly no lever. Because keep in mind, we die to dumb stuff, not to being undergeared. This is all stuff you should learn early on. No affix played, kicks are minimal, defensives rarely used as well. And then I don't even know how this happened. How the hell did we pull this pack with the last two small ones?
I don't know, Jeff.
Now, after finally finishing this dungeon, somewhat close, and yoiking ourselves that juicy 1 score,
Nice. Nice.
I found out some things that maybe were the reasons for the lack of success we had in managing certain pulls. Let's start with kicks.
Oh! Ew! What the fuck?
I mean, sure. I felt like 30 was a good amount for myself, but only 10 kicks from our Red and Hunter combined was a bit wild. And then I wanted to figure out what really happened. Damage done to the affix. And there you see the only reason why those got ignored so often. Our Hunter is not even on the board. This is an overall chart. He never hit the affix once. This is why people shit on one-button rotation users. You cannot tell me that he played the game by himself. You're doing 10s, but you never have seen this mob? Never have seen the affix, so you don't know what to do? Again, I blame Blizzard. For the love of God, put a proving grounds into the game where everybody at least once has to clear it, and that you simply explain the affix and how you, with your current class, can deal with them. That's how new people can do it with a new class every time to see what they can do to help. And the worst part is, I don't even know if this is potentially a newer player or if he just played the entire season completely unaware. I was so mad at this crap, I didn't loot the signet I got just so nobody asks me for it. I don't want it, but I don't want to trade it either.
It's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
I mentioned that I had a fresh mindset, but this one took a fat dump on it, I'm not gonna lie. So in order to calm down, I went for another Priory, and this was a 180. We lusted, had some damage. We also had super annoying and complaining little bitch boy in form of this DK who commented on everything. Now, here are two things that made us quit this dungeon. I know, spoilers, I'm sorry. First, the DK. He had a lot to say. However, he wasn't always wrong. You see, we ignored the first Guardian that runs down to help after killing the first mini-boss. And in the past, this wasn't an issue for me because they just stood there and never reset. However, this apparently got fixed. So now it's how it's supposed to be. If you don't play them, they return. So yeah, that was that. And with that, third time's the charm. Turns out you need 3 attempts to have the pull that was considered normal for the longest time. Yet, because my party didn't goof off for accidental pulls or misplays, I had to do it. Only pulling the small dudes before the second mini-boss finger blasted me right to the entrance, which in hindsight was bad. I should have waited for the CR in order to save this pull. But don't worry, that wasn't it. Because when I arrived at the location, sadly our tank ran out of cooldowns and dropped 2. Yet, instead of resetting, those guys chose violence. They prolonged the fight for more pulling and more deaths. It's insane how me stepping too far resulted in 9 deaths overall. If there's ever a dungeon I don't deserve the time, it's this one, that's for sure. But because of this wonky situation, we kinda need to speed things up. So whenever I had full cooldowns, I let the tank know to double pull, so we potentially save 1 pull per area to make up for some time. A double pull rule also applied later on. So broad pike and the small ones is not something I like at all. The overall healing required, especially after the double pull we just did, is difficult for me to maintain without a proper AoE here and without proper cooldowns. So I had my butt cheeks clinched and pressed every button I had, dying just as brown pike dropped. 5 minutes and only 1 pack. Hold up, that's bad. Now, not only did we need to play another pack for percentage, we also grabbed the second pack somehow, which made this infinitely more annoying. I mean, in the end, we had pretty much 3 minutes for the final boss. If nothing goes wrong, this should be timed. So I made sure to prepare for the inner fire damage pulls, while also hovering over the party for an instant dispel in case somebody gets blinded. Now it was all about nuking. 35 seconds to spare. Not gonna lie, this felt awesome. I know I'm technically the one that made this super tight, but the fact that this party didn't complain and instead just locked in like their life depended on it, made this the best run I've played in forever, emotionally speaking. Ups and downs, a twist in the end with the extra pack we needed, including the bigger twist with the extra pack we pulled, and then a happy end. That Harry Potter bitch couldn't write a better story than that. This means the curse is over, and we only got Darkflame Cleft left? Now, besides Priory, easily the most dreadful dungeon as a healer because you often live at mercy of your party members. If they play the bosses right, your job is easy. If they choose not to, big problems. And again, it was me who started to do dumb things. A change I don't welcome too hardly if I'm being honest. I simply got stuck on those shitty ass pebbles which made me feel the heat. Now this time I only rest because we didn't have a CR, which is still dumb to do considering it takes forever to get there, and the party most likely will be dead when you get there if they can't survive on their own. But it was extra dumb because we skipped one mob. One mob I couldn't skip on my own. Priest had to come back and this took so much time off the clock. So now the proper possibilities of failure. I knew it was a bad idea to not mark one candle so we are on the same page. And yet I had to prepare for the worst, because our Demon Hunter simply didn't play any mechanics, even though he's the most mobile one. Which meant we often ended up with only 2 candles and 6 debuffs to deal with. That's wild. Dude, this was so poorly executed, I never could just take a breath. I only focused on the big damage income due to the dots in order to keep the party as alive as possible. Because keep in mind, with every dot there's another AoE coming. Just muscling through this one made sure there's only one major speed bump on my personal goal of timing all plus 10 keys. Now of course on Candle King, you all want to stack. Which is what the tank said as well, while running the boss to Narnia instead of just pulling them onto the ranges. Then we had this weird situation where all X tosses got missed. This one. That one.
Nope.
Until it was my turn to show them what's up.
Wait a minute!
And there's no way that this is not the hitbox. Well, the entire pool was cursed, so we go again. This time, mechanics got played a lot better. We got rid of a lot of statues, didn't miss the X-Toss no more, and also had mad help from the affix, providing a flat 20% damage increase, as well as cooldown generation, which was all I cared for. And so I had to heal my first Candle King on a 10 with not even 2 mil HPS. That's how you can tell the party did a good job playing. Now, while the card event is running, let me talk to you about what I think about Holy Paladin personally and how I would rate it compared to all the other healers I played in the past. Let me start this off by saying, I didn't have the greatest time. But before you turn off, leave a dislike and pray to the light, you filthy holy enjoyers, listen up. The main reason I didn't like Holy Paladin is that I don't vibe with this damage rotation into healing. It's the same reason I didn't have a blast playing Disc or Mistweaver in the past. Mistweaver would only take an edge here because there was a totally viable casting build and you had a proper AoE heal besides fist weaving for the oh shit moments. Holy Paladin's way of using beacons is really unique and I can totally see the pleasure in anyone who plays healer more than once that enjoys this change of pace and the melee role attached to it. But when I envision a healer, I like casting. Also the fact that Beacon of Virtue, which by design should be your go-to choice in Mythic Plus because it gives heal to everybody, performs so horribly bad that it doesn't really fix the issue of having very little AoE heal on demand. And I'm well aware that in higher keys or with good players you don't need any sort of AoE healing, but in pucks, I'd rather have it than not. I do however really like that kicking pretty much gives you a free Crusader Strike use, which not only means 1 free holy power after kicking, but also holy shock cooldown reduction. That's how kicks should work these days, with a reward system that will increase your performance and not just give you a little bit of resource. Now, I don't really do tier lists, and I won't here, but when it comes to having a good time while playing, I'd put Holy Paladin slightly below Disc and Mistweaver, while still being on top of Restro Druid, because that shit was awful last season, my god. So far, nothing will beat the joy I had when playing Press Evoker. It's just the mobility and the clear healing that they provide. And with that being said, you already know that I am the issue here, since most people do not like preservation. And there you have it. Our journey concluded in our final plus 10 key. I was so happy that I described the pretty accurate state of healing from my personal experience in Season 2. It's either boring or you're overwhelmed and it's stressful. There's very little in between from what I experienced during those 3 weeks of playing. But with that, if you're still watching, make sure to like and subscribe as we are hunting for that 5-digit number on the tuber. And I hope you had some quick chuckles and some good laughs, because that's why we are here. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you in Season 3 for a new, fresh journey we have not seen before. Peace.